Achuta, runda di hodonga kun hunka. Jidubadawan kachi. Achuta. Jidubadawan muchashakpak.
Kuya mi juz kachita, naipatoga ya fulki kuk. Rundi hadonga.
I'm sorry, Padawan. I am unable to render assistance at this time.
I'm here.
Yeah, what do you want? Your choice. I'm here if you want something done right.
Got something on your mind, do you? Oh, that was not until many years later, to tell the truth. I spent quite some time wandering the galaxy. Nothing so extravagant. I merely traveled from place to place. I don't even think I knew what I was searching for. It wasn't as if my travels were pleasant either. There were plenty of folks who distrusted the Jedi after the war, or worse. If people weren't treating me with suspicion, they were looking at me with greed. I don't know how many thought they could make use of me for their own ends. I got so sick of the treachery and deceit. I left the civilized parts of the galaxy and headed instead for the uncivilized parts. Actually, I was on my way somewhere else when I crash-landed on Kashyyyk. The ship I was using was a rust bucket. Sure, why not? It seemed like an interesting enough place to spend a couple of decades exploring. That was a challenge at first. You've seen the kind of creatures that exist down there, and you missed the really big ones. I was still able to rely on the Force to keep me safe for the most part. The rest of the trick is keeping out of the way of most of the predators. No, that's true. Still, most of the creatures grew accustomed to me, and I to them. At least none of them ever heard of a Jedi. Oh, they did at first, oh yes. I can't say I was overly pleased to encounter a group of indigenous giant carpets either, I can assure you of that. Well, that was after 2 decades of helping them. They certainly didn't trust me at first. When I could, I would assist a few young ones who would get lost in the Shadowlands or attacked unexpectedly by the wildlife. I must say, for a while there, the Wookiees actually thought I was some kind of benevolent forest god. Amusing, really. I set them straight eventually. At first, when the slavers took to hunting down lone Wookiees in the fringes of the Shadowlands, I did my best to divert them. Later, when Shundar made his deal, I didn't see any point. I wasn't here to save them from their own sad follies, after all. Not really. Kashyyyk is a place you can feel very small in. It felt good to devote my time to helping people and living simply. What can I say? I did it all for the Wookiees. The Wookiees? Well, okay, maybe I needed some time on a quiet and remote planet, but if you ever need a friend, an incredibly strong hairball isn't a bad call. I suppose I am, in a way, despite the smell. For a race of gardeners, they've developed quite interestingly. You remember the alien computer, correct? Kashyyyk was meant to be an agricultural planet. The Wookiees were made for a reason, or at least that's what I'm thinking. But I'm an old man who's had a long time to develop that opinion, so don't argue with me. At any rate, we should be moving along, don't you think? If you sat around this long in the Shadowlands, attack would eat you.
Kuyami just chitka na patoga ya pulke kukola jeje. Kawana bota ita tagwa. Kanki dora to kun wata mel ita bola. Tong haiwam jiji yumalitfa ag inko tu. Tolpa tabong walya gando de naga chochot. Kachicho ita audong. Tapis yo bong konki bankpa. Chimpala cheska mulik. Tone rana no prata donka serce doma wana kombest. Shachi kien lorcha wata wama. Kaba volve molche gomana. Kin kun shakin. Ne ken kun. Jashak bukra ulma cheskat nekchu. Achuba cheska wanki. Te toki grato. Rondi haudonga kuhonga vi. Wala kumbes. Cheng palamuli ton king ba nokonkek. Kachicho ita hotonga. Yin kin kuno ba mulira chikun. Slimo putuna. Ronde haudonga kuhonga bi. Ita na tanya yeta. Wata yamaka wama okakne. Ashrak toyong umne patoga. Jebedwana ni bobo. Tong na bong sha non gang. Tong patoga smak telia. Takon jostak miki grabel mogo. Kachicho ita haudonga. Tolpa de bong walia gando de nago chocho. Moga shaponka. Bola wana chekne. Pamulis limo, rondi haudonga kuhonga bi, wala kumbes, cheng. Yinkin kuno ba, molera chikon. Tong hai tung kon. Kipuna, bona nai kachu, king ba mulira tuana. Tong keng ba no kun nek. Manama tota. Akuji gratong bola, je shwa konaton. Takon jostak miki grabel mogo. Kachicho ita haudonga. Tolpa de bon. Tong hai wam jiji yumalitha ag inko tu. Tolpa da bon walia gando de. Shachi kien lorcha wata wama. Kaba volve molche gomana. Kien kun shakin. Ne ken kun no mulara jikon. Wama ku. Tonga bumsha unne no. Wanga kun bisken. Ba mulera. Chunyon tu. Kachicho ita hotonga. Yin kin kuno ba mulira chikuya mi jus chetka na patoga ya pulke kokola jeje. Kawana bota it. Tonga bumsha unne no. Wanga kun biske. Ba mulira. Chunyon tun. Jashak bukra ulma cheskat nekchu. Achuba cheska wanki. Teto kama tompa culpa ye moka pata. Bonanai. Jebedwana ni bobo. Tonga bong sha non gang. Tong patoga smak telia. Conticha nai. Molida aswaktorong onipotaga wanaga konteze. Achuta, wanga kumbis dol. Tonga bunsha uneno, wanga kumbis ken, bamolera, chunyon tun jiji ite achuta, wanga kumbis dolbeki kunyana, tong patoga smaktelia. Conticha nai. Molida aswaktorong onipotaga wanaga konteze. Ekratok haku jijia. Wata yuma kawama hohanek. Kipuna, kava dompa kolpalje moka pata. Achuta, wanga kumbis. Shachi kien lorcha wata wama. Kava volve molche gomana. Kien kun shakin, ne ken kun no mulara jikon. Wama kumbes, chimpala mule tunerara pruta. Donkes achuta, wanga kumbis dolbeki kunyana. Tong patoga smaktelia. Shachi kien lorcha wata wama. Kava volve molche gomana. Kien kun shakin, ne ken kun no mulara jikon. Wama kumbes, chimpala mule tunerara pruta. Donke serche doma doma. Mocha shak pang pang. Yen kin kuno ba molera shakong. Achuta, wanga kumbis dolbeki kunyana. Tong patoga smaktelia. Manama tota. Akuji gratong bola jeshwa konatong. John King no pangpa mola reconkile. Tunipolo. Rana prata don kuserja. Hachu apenke. Watawama molare. Ken kunjo peshwak. No ba molareji. Jashak bokra olma cheskat nechu. Achuba ches. Tonga bunsha uneno, wanga kumbiske, bamulera, chunyon kachicho itaho tonga. Yin kin kuno. Watawama molere, ken kunjo peshwak. No ba molareji, jonyon.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan? What is it you would like to speak to me about? Of course.
Yes, what's on your mind? Oh, well, I hadn't thought you'd notice. No, I didn't mean it that way. Damn it, woman, if you keep hounding me, I'm gonna put you over my knee and teach you a lesson. You just wait. You'll get yours. At any rate, I wasn't ogling you. I've just been admiring you. No, I've been watching you in action, your skills. You have a natural talent that is incredible. Not that all I do is watch you or anything. I didn't mean anything by it. Why didn't you tell me that sooner? You would have saved me a lot of trouble. I will say one thing, however. We've come a long way with your help, whether it's the Force or fate or just dumb luck. I'm glad you're here. We probably would never have made it this far without you. I should have said this long before instead of doubting you, but I hope you can forgive me. and you accepted it, but that doesn't mean I'm forgiven. I'd like to be. Because you're an impressive and beautiful woman. In some ways, good ways. You remind me of my wife, and I'd like to make things right between us. I'll take that as a yes. I'm glad that's settled. Shall we get back to what we were doing?
You felt it, yes? Another vision? The Force continues to work through us, showing us the star maps unearthed by Reverend Malak. Tatooine is known for little but blowing sand. I find it surprising that there would be a star map somewhere in its desolate wastes. Perhaps, though that would have been tens of thousands of years in the past. Now there's nothing but the howling emptiness of the Dune Sea. The star map would likely have to be within some kind of shelter to protect it against dust and sandstorms. I suspect there are many such caves and caverns hidden in the sands of the Dune Sea. The creatures of this world probably use them as their lairs. No doubt things will become more clear once we discover the star map's location.
Yes, what's on your mind? Oh, you can tell, can you? Oh, yeah? Well, listen, beautiful, I don't need to take this abuse. I get enough female Jedi bashing from Bastila, thank you very much. You think so? I could probably get the same kind of attention from a blaster rifle. Now that I'd like to see. Or would I? You've got my damn head on backwards, you know that? Anyway, as fun as this is, I do have to talk to you about something serious. Really serious. Is this a good time? All right. I'm concerned about you. I've been keeping these thoughts to myself mostly, but I think it's time I say something. It's about you. I'm worried about what might happen to you. You have a lot of courage, and the fact that you've remained strong is amazing, but there's even greater danger ahead. I think you might be setting yourself up for a fall. Maybe at the urging of the Jedi, I don't know. But you're definitely going to become a target. If I'm gonna find some purpose beyond taking revenge on Saul, then it's gonna have to be in protecting you. I don't know why, but I think some terrible fate is waiting for you. I think the Jedi Council knows it too, and I don't want that to come to pass. Don't chalk it up to my paranoia just yet. Something isn't right. I blamed it on you before, but I think the Jedi didn't tell us everything. If I'm gonna live past Saul, I need you to as well. let me protect you. From yourself, from the Sith. You have to let me try. Because I never got the chance to save my wife and son. Because I didn't stop Saul when I had the chance. Because I finally have the chance to do it right. You are an extraordinary woman. You make me think that maybe I might have some purpose beyond revenge. I don't know whether it means anything to you, but it does to me. I'm glad to hear that. I'll do my best. Yes, what's it? You got...
How may I be...
Got something on... Are we back to that again? What's the best way for me to approach this? Perhaps it's time for a little story. You just keep quiet there, you. I've had to put up with all your busybody questions, haven't I? Well, now you'll listen to a story, damn it. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, the story. You almost made me forget about it. Nice try, but I'm not that old just yet. Now then, a young man sees a terribly venomous snake in his small village. Nervous, he watches the snake carefully until it leaves. The young man follows the snake into the forest. He clears the branches out of its path and helps it over obstacles. He even works to keep it fed. Shush! Many nights pass, and still the young man continues to follow the snake. He even follows it into the sands of the great desert. In the desert, the snake eventually grows hungry. It turns and bites the young man, its poison quickly working its way into his system. Finally, curious, the snake looks at the boy as he lays dying and asks, "Why were you foolish enough to follow me all the way out into the desert?" The boy looks back and replies, "Did I follow you? I thought I was leading you away from everyone else." And then he died. Well, now, that's what I wanted to see for myself. Well, then, let's hope you're not the young man either. I've told you before that you have a destiny before you. This does not mean, however, that your future is already written. They are not the same thing. You have the choice of which direction you take your destiny in. More than engine-sucking Andor, certainly. But even he had a choice. So far, you've chosen to take the lighter path. Can you stay that course, even through the challenges ahead? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not here to judge you or tell you which path to take. I'm here ready to offer you my help, should you ask for it. I do that because I think it's important. More important than remaining in my home and pretending the galaxy doesn't exist. That's why I'm here. I'm rather glad I came too, really. You're a fine young lass. I hope things turn out well for you. Now then, I've chatted enough for one lifetime. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Yeah, what do you want? You're...
Welcome to Anchorhead, potential customer. Zerka Corporation stands ready to serve, after some formalities, of course. First, your ship is not on our list of planned arrivals for today. There is a docking fee of 100 credits because of this. Zerka Corporation maintains this docking station at great expense. It is within our rights to refuse landing permission, and I warn you, We've had troublemakers before. The bay is lined with autoguns. Violence is not a survivable option. I assure you that the fee is non-negotiable. We have a very thin margin of profit on this world. You know, I don't think you need to pay the fee. We'll let it go this time.
Well, that was easy. I sure wish I had special mind-affecting force powers.
This will cover any future landings as well. It's like a registration, so we can serve you better when you return. Now, as a customs officer, I can provide information on services. Is this visit business or pleasure? That's not much information. Could you tell me more? A star map? That's old holotech, isn't it? Not much reason to outfit this dry rock with tech like that. You could ask around, but for something like that, you'll probably have to go digging. I wouldn't know where to begin. You could always ask a Jawa. It's hard to tell what they know. There isn't much to tell. It's a very old planet, well past its prime. Zerka Corporation is the only company with any interest in it. It's not a very pretty world, but there is opportunity here if you know where to look. I can't really get into that. It hasn't been a very smooth operation. I shouldn't get into it. I can tell you more, I guess. It's not a big secret or anything. Just not good for business. You see, Zerka Corporation staked their claim to this planet based on some very promising geological surveys. Unfortunately, that information was incorrect, and possibly even an attempt at sabotage by a rival company. Not totally barren. There were a few good years of mining, and limited operations are still in place. But the ore is flawed. It has peculiar properties. They've had to look at other forms of business. Pursuits that appeal to the casual traveler. There are some fearsome native species that provide exciting hunting. There are also lengthy, barren wastes that serve as fine soup tracks. Attracting business has been slow, however. Very little. There are hints that it might once have been a lush world, but I can't picture it as anything but a desert. Native sentient species have no records going back that far. That was hundreds of years ago, maybe thousands. Of course, the native species are not very willing to tell anyone anything. They're barely more than animals. The Sand People. They're vicious and attack outsiders on sight. More animal than anything, really. Maybe they know the history of Tatooine. Maybe they don't. Impossible to tell. They won't cooperate. I will answer as best as you wish. If you need anything else, I'll be here.
How can I help? Then I suggest...
Vuelta. Colo luz i Punta shelfa. Ufta del cliff. Vuelta. Colo luz i van. Ufta dan gelfa. Hoisi dan gelfa. Vuelta. Colo luz.
Uchua Penki, Tang Itwamaji, human acting Baba Hassan Shan. No Bamudi Rati Lai Kuka. Smilia!
You a swoop racer? Crazy fool.